Alive. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It has been a while. I'm sorry I've not been in touch. The reason why is because I've been incredibly busy with trying to sort out, as you probably know, I was on the Don Robbie YouTube channel doing a watch along with Expressions and Lewis from City Extra and Robbie himself. But I finally got around to it. Again, it's been unbelievably busy. So I just want to get straight into the match. Again, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but through certain circumstances, I've not been able to do this. But I just want to get around to the recording and get my thoughts, or what did you guys think on the Community Shield win? I'm going to be honest, a lot of the time I was talking to other people about the match. So from what I remember, there's not the level of analysis that I've usually got, but I wanted to get a video out for you guys because, again, there's some amazing content coming out for you as well. We've got a video tomorrow with Sweet and Sour Soccer previewing the upcoming Wolverhampton game, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Then we've got one on the press conference as well. Then later in the week, we've got another interview on Monday, so make sure you stay tuned for that and hit like and subscribe as well. I just seen as well, and we'll be joining in 5 minutes. No problem, man. We'll get to you in a second, and we'll get to some of the players as well. Chester goes, can't believe that still this missed the game was at the cricket. Absolutely, but exactly. Now we've got all 4 trophies, which is amazing. The Premier League, FA Cup, Community Shield, and the League Cup as well, which is fantastic to see. Aaron goes, I'm really excited for, really happy that you represent our club at Don Ronnie Togo. Thank you so much. I really appreciated it. And the freeze 8 million free of the Seller Gazelle. We will come on to transfers later on. This is just going to be for the match, so trust me, everything will be there as well. Anyway, we'll get on to the match. I know everybody's probably covered it, but I just want to say my little piece on it as well. Again, it was a pre-season, and it kind of showed at the beginning. What was really impressive for me was we set off against the Premier League winners on the front foot, and we wanted to go at them and show the desire and show the winning mentality, which I thought was great. You didn't have to for a pre-season, you didn't have to for a trophy. And let's be real, Pep came out and said, oh, we're going to play under 23s. You have a look at that team. There was only 2 of them that we haven't seen before. I mean, you're looking at the likes of Benjamin Mendy, you're looking at the likes of Gundogan, Riyad Mahrez. I mean, we all know what Riyad Mahrez is good and he's capable of, and he's took it to the next level with Pep. So it's insane. It really is insane in terms of stuff as well. So yeah, I just want to get to your other comments. Shout out Ryan, thank you so much for the love, and thank you for the super chat on there as well, shouting me out. So I made sure to give you your big up as well, even though they pronounce your name Ray, and I tried to correct them as we went. But yes, what else we got? Am I going to be going to the Wolves game? No, not quite. We'll have to see when it comes on. Did I boo Mahrez? No, it's not worth booing, to be honest. I explained it on the live stream. If you guys want to watch that, I'll try and leave a link below once it's pre-recorded. But if you go to It's Don Robbie YouTube channel, you'll be able to see that as well. Alex has put stuck at the painting in my house. Please help me. Alex will be unavailable, but he's currently building his house from scratch, so he will be on. Trust me, we will have him back on. We love to have him on. Anyway, we'll get onto the team, the formation. Obviously, we played it with a 4-2-3-1. I'm not gonna lie. As you probably saw from the initial thoughts, I thought that's not great. Having somebody like Riyad Mahrez coming at you, and you've got a back 4 of Suyuncu and Daniel Amate, I wasn't that confident in, but I was more than happy to say they did such a good job together. Both of them absolutely smashed it, in my opinion. Daniel Amate, I mean, I remember him getting sent off against other oppositions. Like, I think it was a few years ago when he got sent off against, what was it? He get sent off against other like the Man United of the world. However, now we are just seeing him thrive and push on to the next level, and he's been unbelievable, really. He was fantastic in the game. I know they didn't have an out-and-out striker, and that's another thing for Man City to consider because they've got loads of money in the world. They can go and split one. And is here. We were just talking about the Ghanaian excellence, mate, as you came on. I managed to get on him, but what are your thoughts on him?
I thought he had quite a solid game when he was thrown in the deep end against some of the best players in the Premier League, and I don't think he put too much of a foot wrong. So credit where it's due, but I don't want to be seeing him too far into the Premier League season as a starting centre back.
I mean, we will have to see because, again, it looks like potentially Vestergaard can be done. We'll come on to that probably on Sunday in terms of the transfers and stuff. However, in terms of this, obviously the Söyüncü again, he was back to his kind of old self, where he was taking what was it, the Palmer, I think it was, for their number 80. Again, Pep's complaining about the lack of strength and depth and things. However, he's playing. He pluck on a player with number 98 and number 80. I mean, his squad can't be that small. Anyway, Söyüncü took a couple of Cruyff turns, and I think defended really, really well, considering we've seen what he's like in a back four with Turkey. I think he just did fantastically as well.
Yeah, Söyüncü's one of those, but we've always worried, particularly when Johnny Evans isn't there next to him, but he can go a little bit sort of wild, shall we say. But I thought, whilst he was the leader of that defence in terms of the centre-back partnership, I thought he had a brilliant game. But it's one of those, like, it's hard to gauge because they didn't really have a proper striker running at him. They had like that inverted false nine, which I think he dealt with well, but it was almost such a unique game in that sense.
Yeah, it was, and again, being a preseason friendly, but again, Leicester, I think what was important for us, especially with the day out, as you know, was go. And I know you were at the game as well. Just first of all, how was that experience going out to the Charity Shield?
Oh, it's a brilliant day out. Any day that you can go and watch Leicester at Wembley is a great day. So,
especially recent.
I was surprised, like, I know people take the piss out of it, and I know we didn't sell out our whole allocation. I was surprised how little of Man City's allocation was actually sold. I don't know if that showed on TV as much.
I don't think it did. However, looking at the photos from Twitter and stuff afterwards, people were saying, "Yeah, this is they're really not." But again, I understand if you've been in a Champions League final, in the at Wembley for the EFL final, and then you're looking at a preseason friendly. I kind of understand, but again, the Man City fan base isn't the biggest and the strongest, is it?
No, and it's one of those, you say they've had all these games like that are more of a priority for us, and obviously the Community Shield for us is probably a lot more special than it is to them because they play in it almost every year.
Exactly. So they know they're going to be in another final. We don't know when our next piece of silverware will be. Hopefully, it'll be soon, but we'll have to see. And then obviously on the two wing backs, I know we touched on. I think I touched on it in terms of in Villarreal game, but Ryan Bertrand, man, he's a player that we think, we're bringing for strength and for squad depth. Now this guy has took that position, I think, with both hands and gone, right, I can do pretty much everything in terms of defending, in terms of taking on players, in terms of linking up with Harvey Barnes, in terms of sprinting into the box. The pace on him is mental. So I was so surprised on how quickly. I know he's kind of used to the Premier League, but he's took the Leicester team like he's never been there, like he's never left.
Yeah, he's one of those. We knew exactly what we were getting with him, and I don't think at the age that he is and from the position he plays, he'll be able to play every week. But he's a brilliant option to have, and he's settled very, very quickly, which you kind of expected with the experience he'd had in the Premier League. But the fact that he has done that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, and again, as Vitalan was saying, formed a nice partnership with Barnes, and I think that's something that we to really strive on, because I think somebody was saying as well, Barnes looked really good, and I think it's kind of that two double question in one. But Bertrand looked great, but the link up with Barnes, it's like he's never left. But also, it's great to see Harvey Barnes coming up players and just going, right, I'm going to try and turn you, run past you, and there's not really much you can do about it.
Yeah, he's one of the players, I think we mentioned this at the back end of last year, but was really going to benefit of a full pre-season, getting some games in against some lower league oppositions where he can really start to find his feet, find his fitness and find his confidence. And I think him and Ricardo Pereira are the two players that I'd say have benefited most from the pre-season. Yeah, Ethan, completely agree with that.
Exactly. And he's looking, I was just saying this on another interview, you'll find out probably next Monday, but it's great to have Ricardo back to his full strength, and seeing the things that he's doing, obviously with on that right-hand side, is kind of the best of, we knew he was a good player, but seeing him out of the team, now seeing him in the team, it just makes such a difference in terms of the way he goes forward. Again, he's taking players on, trying to spin past players, cutting in through the middle and defending solidly. I mean, honestly, man, they're going to have Premier League's going to have a real hard time getting on that right-hand side.
Yeah, he's one of those that like Castagna, yes, he came in and did a brilliant job last year, but Ricardo Pereira is one of the elite right backs in the Premier League. I'd argue second best top right back in the Premier League and the best all rounder. So if whoever comes in at right back last year was going to have a really difficult job to fill those shoes. But it just excites me the prospect of him down that right hand side. Hopefully a new right winger, but I'm losing faith the further and further into the window. But we get, if I'm honest. But that just excites me massively. The fact that it's just another avenue that we can attack, because a lot of our goals last year came down that left hand side or through the middle. We didn't create a huge amount down the right hand side. I know we created a few goals, but a lot was from the other areas of the pitch. So I think if having a right back as well, like Ricardo Pereira, with his ability to create, drive at defenders, beat a man, score a goal himself, assist, I think people have forgotten how good he actually was before his injury.
Yeah, and I think Leicester fans, it's not a bad thing. It's just, oh my God, we forgot the levels he was at, and hopefully it'll be the same with James Justin once he comes back, and Wesley Fofana, because obviously awful injury, and we wish him a speedy recovery. But this one looks like a long, from what we can see as well, from what the doctors were saying, it's going to be, and they said 2022, but it's going to be quite a while for that one. And probably your favorite player as well in terms of the Spanish Messi, Ayoze, playing more centrally, but again, he's one of the players that people like to criticize, and I think going forward, watch out, everybody. He is going to be a player that's going. The Chilwell was it this year? Before he left, certain players just get stick, and he is one of them. But Perez, I think, bearing in mind he was stuck out on that right wing, not quite. He was playing more centrally, and he was linking up play well. He was pushing into different positions. He was backtracking really well. I think that's his perfect position. It's not an out-and-out right winger like we've tried before, but I think that position that he takes up, especially with, as you were saying, with Ricardo bombing down that right-hand side, I think it's going to be lethal coming into next season.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I think he played well against Man City, but I don't think he's ultimately good enough to be starting if we want to be finishing top six. I think he's a useful squad player to be having, and he does have good sides to his game, but I don't think he should be starting for us week in, week out if we should be pushing for that top four spot. But I know a lot of people do like him, and that's fine. That's what this is all about, different opinions. But I think as well, it does make him look slightly worse when you see the level of how good Harvey Barnes is on the other side to then Ayoze Perez. But I'd rather see Mark Albrighton starting than Perez, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and he's one of those things where I think he is, I get it as a utility player, but however, with the squad that we have and with this formation, I don't know if Brendan Rodgers is going to go with a 4-2-3-1, but it's the formation that you get the best out of that left wing position. And just going back to something else as well that I wanted to mention, that I think, don't know if somebody has mentioned in the comments below, but Ryan Bertrand on corners and free kicks looks sensational. If we can get Vestergaard done, we've got a juicy pairing for scoring from set pieces.
To be fair, I think anything was an upgrade from Maddison hitting it straight into the first man every corner. But no, we are looking very, very good from corners. Obviously, Siyuncu scoring against Villarreal, and also I can just imagine this getting clipped throughout the season every time we concede a corner now. But we haven't conceded many goals from set pieces so far this pre-season.
QPR, we conceded two.
We did through QPR, but that wasn't really the first team. But in terms of the games that we've seen with the first team, we haven't conceded a huge amount from corners. So I'm fully ready for this to be clipped and showed to me every time we concede a corner throughout the season.
He's already on it. Bertrand's already on it. Favorite last words. Yep. But this is the thing. You put your neck out there with your opinion, and then you get sliced down. That's just the nature of the game as well, a little bit. Moving into midfield, Yuri Tillemans. I mean, I don't think he's set anything light, but it was just good to see him back and good to see him just pushing into getting more game minutes, and also just seeing him push towards his full potential as well.
Yeah, he's one of those. He didn't have his best game in the world, but not his best game in the world is still a very, very solid player. It's still like him having a game like that where he's not at his best and not really having a huge influence on the game. He still had a 7 out of 10 performance, 8 out of 10 performance, putting a huge tackle on a Man City player tracking back in the box. I can't remember who that was, but they were lining up a shot and probably would have at least tested Schmeichel. So he's one of those, like, his levels are so high. So when he drops below that slightly, he's still performing at a decent level.
Yeah, and another one of them players is Wilfred and Diddy. I think one thing that I was listening to Matt Piper, and also something that I've realised as well, he pushes people off the ball now. He never quite used to do that, if you know what I mean. Now he kind of like somebody will come into it and he sends a player flying on the floor, which again is great because then he gives you an opportunity to then move the ball forward, and also there's somebody not on him. So again, I think Wilfred and Diddy is going to be a great player for coming forward, but I think you're going to see something different about him. I think you're going to see, because he's bulked up a little bit more, people are not going to, he's going to use his body in a slightly different way and kind of like push people off the ball.
Yeah, and I think over the last year or so, his game's developed massively, and it's something Brendan Rodgers has always talked about. Yeah, by the way, watch NDD's Twitch; it's hilarious. But
Is it?
yeah, with NDD, but obviously he's saying he's bulked up slightly, and that's something that Brendan Rodgers has alluded to, not just in him but throughout the team, of having that like more physicality throughout the team. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's why he's done it. But I also think his passing range, and it's not the best in the world, like, I'll be honest, but it's definitely improved from what it was, and it's definitely developing.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. And he's still quite young. I think he's only 25, so it is going to get better. And Brendan Rodgers is probably looking that as well. So it's something that I think is going to be fantastic as well going forward. In terms of James Maddison, again, he's starting to look more and more like Jack Grealish, isn't he? But I think, what do you think of his performance? I wasn't blown away by him, but at the same time, he's fantastic, I think, and what he does.
It wasn't a bad performance by any means, and he quite a few times he got the ball, and he was the one who sort of started the counter attack, got the ball to Barnes, Vardy, Ricardo overlapping, or Bertrand overlapping. So he was finding the players and stuff, but he didn't really play any killer passes. But he looked very tidy, confident on the ball, and I do think this is going to be a big season for him, and I'm hopeful that's at Leicester, and I think the further into the window we get, like with the right wing for us, I think it's looking less and less likely that he'll go to Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the more we play, we'll see players. Obviously, we have Harvey Barnes, James Maddison will obviously try and up his game a little bit more. One criticism I would have of him, he seems to slow the ball up a little bit too much. I don't know if this is just a thing that I noticed, but he sometimes gets the ball and takes it a bit too many touches instead of just going, okay, get the ball and pass it straight away to somebody like a Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and like sometimes I almost think he overthinks it, and like there's a simple pass on, and sometimes he'll try and like play the Hollywood pass when there's no need for it, kind of thing, or like he slows the ball down, and say when we're on the counter attack, he'll slow the ball down, and he lets the other team get back. But the thing is, he, just like a lot of the other players, he's finding his fitness, he's finding his feet. So I'm so hopeful that he'll be at Leicester next year, because the thing with him is he's very much a confidence player, and we saw that in January when he was scoring goals, when he was creating assists, it was just flowing. I think once he gets that first goal or first assist, we'll see him right back to his best.
Yes, and I think that'll be the case. Hopefully, what we'll have, there's only one way to find out, but I think, yeah, he goes through, I think, fits and spurts in terms of he'll get top four for, he'll get goal, assist, and then he kind of comes a bit quiet, and he asked other players to kind of pick him up, kind of like Mahrez was a little bit. And in this game, I think somebody's mentioned it already, Mahrez didn't really hit his levels, but that's fine. And one of the things when he had that breakaway, I can't remember, I think it was Ricardo that lost the ball, and then both players are charging after them. And I think it's fantastic as well. But again, the desire to get back. But obviously, Jamie Vardy speaks for himself, isn't it? I don't think we have to mention how his levels are always high, even in this game, being an absolute nuisance. And even though he didn't have a lot to do, his movement off the ball was just second to none, as usual.
His movement was brilliant. He should have scored that chance at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
But at the time, I thought, because I was right at the other end of the ground, obviously where the Leicester fans were, and the thing with Vardy at the moment is, I know this is going to go down not particularly well. I'm struck. He doesn't seem like he's playing with confidence, and like that run at the back end of last season where he just wasn't scoring. I think he's one of those. He needs to get a goal early on in the season. Otherwise, I think we could see like another spell like that, which I really hope we don't. But then, if we do that, if we do go for a spell like that now, we've got players that can come in like Iheanacho and Daka. So I think that's like the positives of where this transfer window is the fact that if they are players struggling, we've got the rotation. But he off the ball, his work's always brilliant, and we saw that again against Man City. It just won't fall for him at the moment.
Yeah, and the thing is, with the player like Jamie Vardy, they know that strikers will go through these barren spells. But I think he's been around the game long enough to know that, okay, I just need to keep doing what I need to do, keep creating chances for other people, and I will get the goals eventually. I know his spell's been quite a while, but there's these kind of things that I think that will be that's just part of being a striker, and I think he's been in the game long enough to know how this game works, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and he's one of those as well. At this, I think he will know within himself that he's not playing his best football, which is why he's probably working as hard as he's ever worked before to get back to the levels that he was before. So the fact we're going to have Iheanacho, who's going to want to be starting, Daka, who's going to want to be starting, and Vardy, 3 players competing for those spots, that can only be a positive thing.
Yeah, you're right. It can only be a positive thing. Obviously, we'll move on. Obviously, they changed about, I think, from 60 minutes to about 80 minutes, I think. So a good portion got a run out as well, with Samore, Kenan Dewsbury Hall as well. Them two, I think, looked really promising, especially Samore. Well, both of them did, but I'll concentrate on Samore first of all. Samore, I think, is just I keep saying it every single time, but he just looks like more and more of a tank. And the more minutes he's going to get, I remember there was the passage of players going around Twitter where he was taking on like 4 or 5 players and going, right, I'm going to keep the ball. I'm going to keep the ball. That's going to be, again, not just in winning fouls, Ethan, but just holding the ball. I think I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. I maybe seen Wes Morgan, but it's not quite the same thing because he was just a big physical without the pace.
It's Yaya Toure-esque, the way that he carries the ball and just sort of bounces off players. And the thing with him was, I know exactly the passage for play you mean. It's just like he shoulder barges people off, and like they just couldn't get anywhere near him. But I think the impressive thing is he does that, but he also keeps carrying the ball forward. He doesn't lose possession of the ball, because quite often you'll see a player who outstrengths a player and stuff, but lose the ball in the process of doing it or lose control of the ball. He keeps control of the ball, and then when he is at full tilt running, it's almost impossible to get the ball off him.
Yeah, exactly. And it's still early in his career. I think that will only get better and better with time, and his vision for passing was fantastic. Thoughts on Dewsbury Hall? Because I think he's had an amazing. He's one of the people that's really stood out in pre-season, but I think he could really come into the team and do some damage because, I mean, his performance against Man City, he wasn't even intimidated by any of them. And bearing in mind, we were still 0-0 at that point.
No, and he seems like one of these players similar to Luke Thomas, but no matter the level, they will put themselves about the pitch, and they won't be sort of like starstruck of who they're playing against. So he looked very comfortable, and I do think he's one of those players that will be very useful throughout this season. Obviously, we've got our midfield of Ndidi and Tielemans, but to be able to rotate that with players like Samore, the likes of Dewsbury Hall, that is what we were missing last year, because Ndidi and Tielemans ran themselves into the ground. So to be able to rotate that, but not only rotate that, but rotate that with quality, that's the difference between like a big 6 side and what we were last year. And I keep mentioning squad depth, and you're probably going to get sick to death of me talking about it. But squad depth is so important. And I think having the quality in squad depth that we now have is very, very important.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think it's, again, as Vesselin is saying, midfield's looking promising. Hopefully, we get a proper rotation going. Exactly, and I think with it being as big as it is in terms of the way that Leicester City work, and with the strength and depth, we are going to get there eventually. But with Samore, I think he will be a great player, but he will take time to get there. Is there anybody else that came? Well, Daka's another one. Daka and Iheanacho came on. I think that partnership between Vardy and Nacho gets the best out of them, and Daka and Nacho gets the best out of them as well.
Yeah, I think Daka looks like he off the ball, just like the way that he chases down absolutely everything. He's rapid as well, and just gets himself fully stuck into absolutely everything. I think he's going to cause defenders all sorts of problems. And I think this is something you said on my channel, or it might have been Alex at one point. But imagine playing 60 minutes against Jamie Vardy and then having the last 30 minutes against Daka. That, like, you wouldn't want to be a defender against that, would you?
No. Or you somehow they come on. Imagine you get a red card, and then they bring on Daka. Then you've got Daka and Vardy both. Remember in pre-season where they're both running at a player, and the defender goes, "I don't know what to do with this." Obviously, that's probably in pre-season just to get free a bit more, but having both of them running at you and having two Vardys is really annoying, but really great for us.
Yeah, and then it's not as if it's just those two that we've got that can get in behind and cause problems with their pace. When you look at Barnes as well, down the left, he's another one that you wouldn't really fancy running at you. So this season, I am so excited by the squad that we've got. I think you'll remember at the start of last season, I was a bit pessimistic. I think I said we'll finish 11th or 12th. So this season, I'm very, very optimistic, which probably means that we won't do that well, because every time I'm optimistic, we seem to do awfully. But
that's fine. If that's the case, we'll say we'll get relegated as long as Leicester do well. Again, I'm trying to figure out a time to get everybody's predictions and stuff together. However, we will figure that as we go. But just your thoughts on that and the whole FA Cup experience, the whole Community Shield experience, because that was just must have been amazing down at the ground.
It was brilliant, and I made a day of it. Went to London early and stuff, and it was just what a brilliant day. My bank account doesn't thank me for it, but I just
going to London. It never does.
No, it's one complaint I've got. One complaint: a little bottle of Budweiser in Wembley. Awful beer, but a little bottle, £6.50 for a tiny little bottle. But apart from that, it was brilliant.
Again, this is just standard prices, unfortunately, and also this is the standard prices of, I think, London as well, as everything just kind of goes up in price. However, yeah, I think that was pretty much it. But anything else to end on, Anne? Because I think pre-season everything has done. We've done pre-season now. Everybody was, I think. Some people in the comments, and you know who you are. I'm not going to shout you out. I think you're right. You're in the comments and you're watching it live. We're worrying about the two games that we played, and we were losing both of them. Now we see it's water under the bridge because we came out against Villarreal, because we came out against Man City. Now that's the games and that's the levels that we should be performing at, if not higher.
Yeah, and I think it's now just let's get into the season. Let's play Wolves. I can't wait. I think if you say pre-season's done. Now we get into the serious stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get that soon. So if you guys have enjoyed the video and like, subscribe, all that good stuff, make sure you check out the video tomorrow at 7 o'clock, BST, GMT. I can't remember which one it is. We've got a video coming out with Sweet and Sour Soccer, who's going to preview the Wolves game for us as well. So again, I see a lot of you talking about transfers and stuff. We will come to that. There is going to be a end of week transfer because the stuff is still developing. That the things haven't been announced just yet, so we'll get into that and then head over to Ant's channel as well. And because your video, mate, is blowing up as well in terms of the Community Shield vlog. Yeah,
it's one of those as well. I really enjoyed doing it, but like I'm just trying to improve what I'm doing for the start of the season, like with the content that I'm doing. So any feedback on that video as well would be massively appreciated. So yeah. And if you didn't go to the game, you can see what the atmosphere was like and what the away end was like.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to make sure that, go over to Ant's channel, you'll be able to find it. Ant's Leicester fan channel. Link above, check it out. Awesome. But yes, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. All that, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.